Inflation, interest, and immigration, the cost of government policy. The U.S. is suffering the effects of high inflation, which resulted in a decision to increase interest rates to combat the elevated inflation. The impact of both has hit the lower and middle class ability to afford necessities such as food and housing. Though this will not be an in-depth economic review, the reason we have both high inflation and interest rate in today's economy is due to bad government policy that had to be fixed by another government policy, and as a result, the average American is suffering due to decisions made in Washington, D.C. The start of the high interest rates was due to spiking inflation that was caused by government spending, either through borrowing or, quote, printing, and injecting it into the economy through various government programs, COVID-19 relief funds, Inflation Reduction Act, the Infrastructure Act, that had price tags into the trillions of dollars. This spending was added into the money supply, but since the amount of goods and services did not increase in the economy, we had more dollars chasing those static levels of goods and services and resulted in price increase. Too few services being chased by too many dollars. Increasing interest rates can be used to combat inflation by increasing the cost of borrowing. The increased borrowing cost reduces economic activity by reducing investment, which can lead to increased unemployment or reduction in wages. Increased unemployment reduces demand because when people do not have a job, they make fewer purchases, which is reducing demand. Also, as old loans are repaid and fewer new loans are going out, the less money will be in the economy, which reduces too many dollars chasing too few services. Government policy created inflation, which hurt the lower middle class and was fixed by more government policy, interest rates, that hurts the lower middle class as well. The rapid rise in interest rates to highs that we have not seen since the early 1990s occurred after we had the lowest interest rates in history. Easy money policies created by government quantitative easing by the Federal Reserve. The result is that home sellers are unwilling to give up their existing low-interest home loans for ones which have a higher rate. So existing homeowners are not selling, nor are they taking out home equity lines of credit. Due to the higher interest rates, the number of new home startups are also slowing down. That means new constructions are down, and as mentioned above, renovations are down. Both hurt the middle and lower class job availability. While home construction is down, the U.S. population continues to increase. Part of its natural increase, but over the 8 million have come to the U.S. due to illegal or irregular immigration. All these people through natural growth or immigration must be housed somewhere. And by the way, the chaos of the U.S. border is also part of government policy. With all these new arrivals who must be housed somewhere, it has increased the demand for rentals and starter homes at the exact same time that people are not willing to give up their lower interest loans. The increased demand for housing, while at the same time fewer homes are being built, means that despite higher interest rates, the price of homes and rent are still increasing. Typically, when interest rates rise, the price of homes decrease to spur demand, and this is not happening. The risk of increased homelessness or expensive housing programs will need to be implemented to try to ease the impact. The fact that the government policy created all this, it is doubtful that another government program will fix it. The point is not to go into macro or microeconomic decisions of how inflation and interest work together. It's more about what government policy is done, and then another government policy is implemented to fix the original problem, so another government program is needed. It is a vicious cycle that keeps having people go back to the government in Washington, D.C. to fix it. People should remember that Washington policy did this, until people realize that Washington is a problem and change the way they think about government, the government will keep squeezing in people until we all become government dependents, and thus less free.